Hey everyone, welcome to a critique of Anthem. Anthem is a third-person, loot-based role-playing game set upon the backdrop of a fantasy-inspired, shared open world. Players can play solo or in a group of 4. The objective of the game is to follow a written story through the game's lush, green world, while collecting loot, leveling up, and engaging in mission content in the game's various difficulty modes. The higher the difficulty, the better the loot, of course. Players can level up and customize their javelins by visiting the forge, which houses all of your cosmetics and gear you've acquired. The following critique of Anthem is based off a 10 hours spent with the VIP demo, which is a gameplay slice of level 10 to level 15. Players begin by selecting a mission, difficulty, and team setup, be it public or solo. The game features a full story to follow, but you can also participate in team expeditions or play the game in free play mode. Combat in Anthem is a combination of weapon-based shooting, cooldown-based abilities, and flying. Players get to equip 2 weapons and a handful of abilities, such as cluster grenades, poison clouds, dashes, shields, etc. In addition to a javelin-specific ultimate ability that is also on a global cooldown. Using these abilities in combination with primary weapons, sprinting, dodging, and flying provide Anthem's core bread-and-butter gameplay. Flying in Anthem is absolutely wonderful. Players can launch into flight, which provides a satisfying sense of weight, momentum, control, and visual feedback. You can dash left and right while flying, soar up into the sky, and even crash through water without a hitch. It's fantastic stuff. Flying around the world of Anthem is one of the most relaxing and beautiful experiences once you get the hang of it. The controls can take some time to get used to if you play with a keyboard or mouse, as the mouse is incredibly sensitive, which is the sole steering device for your javelin while you're in the air. Like learning to ride a bike, you'll crash a lot at first, but after a while it does become second nature, not only to fly in Anthem, but to integrate it into combat. Combat in Anthem is fast-paced and a mashup of Destiny and Warframe. Sorry about the cliche, it's just the way it is. Most engagements in Anthem are group-based or horde spawns that take place in very specific areas, although you can find some random animals to hunt down in free play too. While general gunplay does provide a moderate amount of fun, the only thing that's holding it back is the lack of feedback from the base guns in the game. I found the gunplay itself to be a little stiff and a little bit floaty. The fun actually comes when you take this gunplay and you weave your abilities and flying into the picture. At times, Anthem portrays this beautiful dance of shooting, casting spells, and taking to the sky, all the while grabbing armor and health from the enemies you kill. It's a careful dance. Outside of flying, none of these elements would be special on their own, but taken collectively, and it begins to be satisfying. Each javelin has access to a variety of skills to use and has a different HP and armor pool, which can emphasize the importance of roles within a group. In the demo, though, I didn't experience any synergy between classes. Outside of reviving fallen teammates, everyone seemed to be doing their own thing. Synergy seems to be missing. It'd be nice to have some combinations of spells to use among the classes, such as giving the Ranger class a tool to one-shot enemies frozen by anyone using the Storm Javelin. As it stands now, though, it's basically everyone out for themselves. Flights play out interestingly enough thanks to the flight mechanic, allowing players to zip in and out of combat to regenerate health before jumping back in. There is some bullet sponginess here in Anthem though, which can wear you down and drag out fights beyond the duration you might want. There's also frame rate issues and clutter that get in the way of combat. Currently, Anthem is not a well-optimized game, and frame rate drops are common when the screen gets busy. The visual effects are so detailed in this game, colored and constant, that it's easy to get disoriented as well during combat. This was a recurring problem for me. Take for instance the Interceptor's ultimate ability, which allows her to enter a frenzied melee state and attack without stopping. Take a look at the footage here. Without a dedicated lock-on mechanic, the camera often spins around and becomes glazed with showers of color, glow, and blur effects to the extent that it's difficult to understand what the hell is going on, or control it for that matter. Many instances like this popped up during my playtime, bombarding me with an although very beautiful, chaotic mess of effervescent neon eye candy. Even simply being in the blast radius of a grenade can get messy. And with the arguably narrow field of view and the lack of a lock-on mechanic, it's easy to get lost in the haze of combat, especially when fighting hand-to-hand. While the prowess of the graphics and the effects are definitely impressive, often I found myself wanting to stay back a ways from my targets so that I could remain composed. Graphically speaking, Anthem appears to be less glamorous than its pre-release counterpart footage. While that is to be expected, I was slightly disappointed when I noticed bland texture work, poor facial animations, and inconsistent lip syncing upon close inspection. While Anthem certainly looks nice, as a whole, you should definitely curb your expectations. However, the stunning Avatar-inspired world of Anthem is drop-dead gorgeous, and flying through it is something truly special. Though I did experience a decent amount of clipping through terrain while doing so, especially while flying below objects. This is a gameplay comparison of Anthem running at 4K versus 2K on the same system.
Watch out for scorpions in the area. Must have moved in recently. Better do something about them.
The specifications are on your screen right now. Running on my native 1440p setup, I was getting above 100 frames per second with regular dips below 60 frames per second, especially during combat.
Crap. Stars. Those sentinels need your help.
Even on 1080p, I was still encountering these issues, though not as frequent. I don't find this acceptable, as many of the bosses have one-shot mechanics. Dying instantly without the ability to react isn't the right punishment for a company that fails to optimize their experience.
Is bad news. Relax. We shouldn't jump to conclusions.
Javelin customization is here in the Forge and allows players to set loadouts and personalize their suits. Each component of your suit can be changed out, from the arms, the legs, torso, chest, etc., provided you find them in the open world or buy them in the in-game store. As it stands right now, players have access to paint colors and select gear upgrades. While it's not much, I am impressed already at how cool you can make your Javelin look, and the potential is limitless. But it's currently unknown how the implementation of Anthem's real money store will impact the end-game cosmetic grind. It's entirely possible that Anthem will turn into a gear grind, so much in fact that it may be more attractive to skip it with real money. With EA's track record, this is possible, so it's up in the air, but we shouldn't be assuming the worst until it happens. I definitely enjoyed my time with Anthem, though a lot needs to be addressed. Anthem's menu is clunky and slow. I can only assume that there's input lag in the menu because the game is perhaps server-based. It makes navigation in the menus a little bit tiresome and more of a chore than it needs to be. Anthem City is also underwhelming, rather empty, and doesn't feel special without other players in it. The slow and stiff first-person controls also don't mesh with the game at all. I assume they made this choice because A, they didn't want to render an in-game model for the main character in third person, which needs to be far more detailed than any NPC, and B, walking around in a Javelin in third person would just feel weird. Javelins are meant for speed. I think this was a mistake though, because the first person view just feels off. While I did enjoy the combats, I think they need to tone down the explodies, as it can create some disorientation in combat. Currently, Anthem is way too screen busy. They also need to provide more visual feedback for the baseline gunplay, as it feels slightly underwhelming to play as Ranger right now, for example. The connectivity issues won't fly for release either. Too many disconnects and issues while connecting. Load screens are also a hassle, but I'm not sure they could do much about this. Loading in the game takes too long. In addition, it's not uncommon to be met with 2 or 3 load screens in a single mission. These load screens are a hassle and break up the flow of gameplay, really annoying. Inconsistencies in quality also need to be worked on. The animations of the ultimate abilities are amazing, yet the animation for the Interceptor throwing out a gas grenade is pathetic. And audio sometimes cuts out entirely, especially when you're low on health. It's really strange to be swinging a sword around and hearing nothing. I think a lot of people wanted to see Anthem fail, but as a gamer, I'm really hoping they can tidy up these loose ends and make Anthem a winner. It's got some real potential, an amazing world to explore, fantastic art style, and it's quite addictive. It's probably not going to win any Game of the Year awards, but it can absolutely succeed if EA keeps its dirty hands out of Anthem's cookie jar. Before you go, let DT rant on one more thing. The quest marker. There's too much follow the yellow brick road in Anthem. Every single objective when you're playing a mission is dotted with an endless breadcrumb trail of follow me quest icons. It creates this auto-piloting gameplay experience that I just cannot stand. Let me figure out stuff myself, EA. Stop pointing me in the direction where I should go. It's so overbearing. It's just a dependency that's slapped on the players that makes them feel like zombies, following the quest arrows until you get to your objective. I understand that players need navigational tools, but this is hand-holding. This is not navigation. How about instead, you actually write good dialogue, give us some clues, and let us figure it out ourselves. There's a great side effect that happens when you do that, EA. It allows us to appreciate all the time and effort that BioWare has spent building this beautiful world, because we can explore it. Half the time I was just staring at those little icons on my TV instead of actually looking at the geography of this wonderfully designed video game. If you absolutely must do this, then don't make the quest icon the same color as the player icons of your teammates. It's confusing. Half the damn time I'm playing this game, I'm watching my teammates fly at me instead of the objective. EA. Thanks for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. Let me know what you think about Anthem down below in the comment section. And have a fantastic day. We'll see you guys in our next video. Take care until then.